up? This your boy Oshin. This is Oshin's View. You already know I'm in the building with Willie Negro.
What up?
Hell up in Harlem. That's all. It's hell up in
Your
Harlem.
neck of the woods.
It's hell up in Harlem. Whoa, no, don't let everybody else say it. Like, because this is, it's a real thing now. Mm-hmm. Cam and Jim is at it again. So for those who haven't been paying attention, Jim Jones went on Justin LeBoy's podcast. I think it's called Respectfully. And he had an interview.
Yeah.
And Justin LeBoy asked him about, the situations with, first he asked him about Mace. And Jimmy said how he really doesn't mess with Mace because, Cam's enemies was his enemies or whatever. And so he chose sides, and he was like basically saying how he said Mace used to do Cam dirty, like just treat him bad or whatever. Once he got the deal.
Yeah.
Once he got the deal and everything, and he started making his money and everything. So he said that was more than enough reason for him not to rock with him. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's how you feel. And sometimes in life you have to choose sides. So I get it. But I believe Jimmy to be smart enough to know he probably could have stayed out of that one. And the reason...
Well, it was a reaction, though. It was a reaction to when 50 was on Cam's joint. And then 50 started talking about when, 50 and Cam had the little beef, and then he had brought Jimmy out. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And
it was on Rhapsody in the Basement, too.
Yeah. It was... 50 is a funny guy. He was joking around and he was talking about how Jimmy had balling, and he seen at a time, you know what I mean, where Jimmy was kind of coming up, and he just kind of threw his hand out there like, yo, I think Jimmy hotter than Cam anyway. And then he got him to go on there, and it was at a time where Jimmy and Cam had friction. Long story short, they was joking. 50 was joking. Cam was laughing. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Jimmy didn't find it funny. Then he went on Justin LeBoy, said what he said, and the thing that, Cam took offense to is he said them niggas was on my dick.
Now, it's funny you said that because I heard it.
Yeah.
But it seemed like that's universally, so far, the few people I've been speaking to, well, more than a few people, is everybody kind of came to that conclusion. Everything was fine until he said that. And evidently Cam was on vacation. Mm-hmm. And so clearly he's getting inbox, he's getting text. Yo, Jimmy, getting crazy on you. And Cam probably definitely honed in on that one thing at first. And was just like, okay, now I have to respond. Mace didn't respond. Mm-hmm. Mace is not going to respond. I don't believe it's out of fear or anything like that, but he knows Cam. So he's like, well, he's going to get my message through how he wants to get it through. Because, Mace is still churchy and everything else now or whatever. He kind of still is. He kind of still is. I'm not saying he's not out in the clubs, not doing all that stuff anymore like that. So Cam goes and he starts it off as Cam would do. First off, you're from the Bronx. That alone has set the internet ablaze with everything because they are based in Harlem. They built their brand as we're diplomats. This is Harlem.
So, right. So
go ahead.
I'm going to ask you.
All right.
Because, being a New Yorker, a Harlem / BX guy, is Jimmy from Harlem?
In terms of me, since you asked me,
yeah,
I'm going to say Harlem.
Okay.
Now, let me give the context to that. I didn't meet Jimmy till I was like 20.
Yeah.
I don't know him from the Bronx. Mm-hmm. I've heard things. I already knew about Weeks Ave and everything else. I got regular friends that live over there. You see what I'm saying? Like that. So, shout out to Weeks Ave. But I didn't meet him under any Bronx, specifications at all. It's always been in Harlem, always been around Camden. Now, Cam and Mace and HUD, God bless the dead, and everybody else, I knew them since we was like 8 years old. Because Cam lived on 140th. I lived on 139th. Cam is 140th in Lenox, but it's in the middle of the block. Yeah. I'm 139th and 7th, which is up the block. Literally, it'll take me 3 minutes to get to Cam's building from my building where I was at, 2363 139th Street, 7th. So, Crime Square, it's a play on Times Square, it's 142nd Street, because I'm just going off of what Cam was mentioning when he was telling the world, like, I'm from 140th in Lenox. I'm from Crime Square. I'm from NFL. That's niggas for life. That's a 139th thing. That's what Big L used to always scream, God bless his dad. Because L is from 139th. But L is from 139th and Lenox. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Like that. Because I'm just trying to clarify for the people that's not from New York that so they can understand the proximity of everything. This is what first of all, I don't like the whole thing with them beefing, period. Yeah. But the whole thing is this. We can't take his card away from him now. Yeah. Like, we just can't take his card away from him because I think what universally needs to happen, and this is beyond, we're going to get back to this, we got to stop saying because somebody was born somewhere, that's where they're from. We got to stop that because where you drop, think about this in life. Women have been in other states that they did not live in, and they were pregnant, and that water broke. Right. And they had that kid in whatever state that was. That kid is not from there. Yes. You see what I'm saying? They're not from there. Because once the baby was dropped, yes, for legal terms, that's what your birth certificate is going to say. But if you didn't go to any school there, and we're not talking about you've been there a couple of years, we're talking elementary, middle school, and high school. Those three things. And if you have those three things going for you in a certain city or a part of the joint, then that's where you're from. Where you live, my thing is this. I got people that move to the Bronx, move to Harlem, move to Brooklyn, that were from all these different boroughs, but they moved there as adults. Yeah.
Well, that's kind of what Cam is saying, though. Cam is saying that we kind of didn't know you until you was 19, 20 years old. So he's saying... He said
1994. Jimmy said 1994. Okay. I'm telling my age. I was 17. Right. So I still didn't know him. Right. You see what I'm saying? Like Cam, we're in the same class, same year. He's February 4th, 1976. I'm November 4th, 1976. Whatever. He about to be 49. Whatever. So Jim is saying 94. I didn't know Jim in 94. Now, if Cam and them did, then, then clearly he didn't know him at 20. But I didn't know him in 94. I don't think I knew him in 95 either. Like that. Now, I think I seen him for the first time, maybe 98. It's not even maybe. Because by that time, when Cam came down to Morgan and performed, Jim was with him. Yeah. And I already knew him at that point. Because he was with my man A Butter. Shout out Adrian Walton or whatever. A whole lot of game. Rucker legend. But what I'm saying is this. That's around the time, because after I seen Jim a few times back home, and then when he was on the road with Cam, you know how it is. You never see somebody, but then you start talking to the person. Now you see them all the time. Yeah. Now you see them all the time. Because it's like that. So you probably were a lot of places that I was at. It's just we didn't know who each other was. So it was just like, whatever. But so he's definitely stripped him from that. And with the irony of Jim having a song out right now that's starting to bubble, I don't know how big it's going to get. I'm not going to put no cap on it. Because Ballin' was was a place in time. That was a huge record.
Yeah.
But this, it's still Harlem. Mm-hmm. It's kind of moving up. But the thing about it now is, people are so impressionable. He's rocking out with this still Harlem, but now I'm looking on the internet. Yeah, but you was never from here. Now everybody, you was never from here. I don't like that. I'm like, cut it out. Like, I just think that's kind of shaky. Do I think they'll ever get back on good terms? It's hard to say.
But first,
go ahead.
Because me personally, I think I don't know nobody in this situation, but I do know that Cam is hilarious. You know what I mean? So do you think that Cam was being a little facetious when he was saying that? Or just a dig at him, but he really thinks like he from Harlem?
That's a good perspective. I believe it was more facetiousness and digs or whatever. Yeah. Because it's too much, forget paperwork, it's too much video footage of you. This is what y'all do. Y'all been running around for 20 years. Now, Cam said something when he was like, the diplomat movement was only 2001 to 7. Now, he would know, but I don't think it was just 2001 to 2007 because I don't think they really got the bubble until like 05, 06 and all that. Like, they weren't popping. That Rucker joint happened before diplomats became diplomats. They were just running around, and that's another thing that I want people to understand. Just because it was in Harlem, that doesn't mean it was in their hood. Right. Because it wasn't. Once again, Jimmy's from the east side, so it was way out of his hood. Mm-hmm. Jim is from 112th. We were at 155th and 8th Avenue. Cam is from 140th. That is 15 blocks away. That is not his hood. Mm-hmm. And that's what people got to understand. Like, you can be 5 blocks away from your block and it might be too far.
Yeah.
If certain things go down, depending on what block it is. That's to me, that's any inner city in any state. Like, this nigga, I hear you talk about Huntington Park.
Huntington Park, in Philly. Yep.
In Philly. I don't know what are the bordering blocks, but I'm pretty sure there's a block where it's like, okay, if you're from any inner city, you know what your safe blocks are. Where you be like, okay, nothing will happen to me from this block to this block and everything in between.
Right.
Just because I know a whole lot of people. Now, I can get into a fight with anybody, but nothing's going to super, escalate.
Yeah.
But then there is those 2 blocks that's a little outside of the range where it's kind of like, it could go down over here. And we probably going to have to come back. But if we come back, we got to come back on some stuff.
So you saying that's kind of what happened at Rucker?
That's exactly what happened. Mm-hmm. I got to keep saying, they weren't the movement they were at the time. That's why it was only a few of them there.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like they weren't at its height. Diplomats weren't at its height. Because if they were at its height, something bad would have happened. And another thing too, them junior mafia dudes, I don't know what people know in terms of, they just thinking that was just some dudes that Big was shot out.
Yeah.
No, those are street dudes. I'm not talking about little C's. And I'm not saying that C's is soft. What I'm saying is, I'm not looking at C's as no killer. Mm-hmm. But I don't think he's a punk, but I don't think he's no killer either. But them D-Rock niggas, the C-Gutter nigga especially, and other cats, they get it in. And then if they got it in, they gonna have official street dudes with it. Some dude named Bill, they said I don't know if he got killed, so I don't want to say it, but he's no longer living. Because I saw people saying, shout out, rest in peace to my man Bill. That's the dude that was running around with the chair. Was chasing, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, it was guns out there, because I know people that was there. I was out there that day, but I wasn't in the park.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I wasn't in the park and everything. And so I just saw the commotion. I didn't even see Cam and them that day until after the fact. You see what I'm saying? Then I'm hearing the stories, and of course, I seen the video footage on how it was. And then it was like, oh, so this is what was going on. But to get back exactly with them, I keep saying, Cam is not a person you can reason with in public. You just can't do it. You're going to have to talk to him one-on-one. And if I know that, Jim definitely knows that. Anybody that's really around him, they know that. Because he doesn't want to feel like he's ever getting checked. Now, if Cam was in this room one-on-one right now, and it's us three, he'll listen to reason. Because you got to listen to key phrases. Cam's, you know what he says a lot? He says, pardon me, and I appreciate that a lot. Like, a lot. Like, he says that a lot. I just know him. He says that a lot. Those are the phrases of people that just super off the hook all the time. Cam is very controlled and strategic with what his thinking is and how he's going to do things or whatever. One of the things he keeps saying is when he says, Jim will bring up something between us that nobody else knows about, but he'll bring it up.
Yeah. And
clearly Cam he doesn't like that at all. Because he was like, how do you know? So it's like, he said one time, Jimmy put on Instagram, yo, ask Cam why he took me off the song. Cam was like, the song was never put out. And matter of fact, Cam said the song was put out, but nobody knew you was on the song anyway.
Right.
But now that you told them you was on the song, you told them. So that, like you said, that's like a small example of what Cam be talking about when he says, yo, keep stuff in the house. Because his mentality is once you take it out of the house, now I got to OD because now I got to make a bigger show or whatever. I just wonder if they called each other.
Oh, shit, I doubt it. Not with the way they going right now. I think Cam don't really care too much for it. I think they got love for each other, but Cam is like, yo, do you? I think Jim is going to try to, steamroll the attention that he's getting right now into some music or some business or something and make some money off of it. Jim's still hustling, man. Jim ain't got a podcast that's doing well. You know what I mean? He hustling out here right now.
Yeah, the thing about it is Jim gonna hustle. He's just got to follow up with good music.
Yeah,
he's just got to follow up with good music. Really hone in on how he wants to put a nice album out because I didn't think he was going to be able to put out another album. I thought, and what I mean by that is this: can he drop music and all this other stuff? But I'm like, I feel now would be a perfect time for him to drop some real material. And honestly, you got it off. You really don't have to address it either.
Right.
It'll be dope. And like I said, I'll probably make this a clip part. Jim, if you listening, don't even address nothing. Just put out good music. And because people, to me, and he's got his own mind with things, this is me just on the outside. Yo, people will be like, dang, he made a good album. He didn't talk about that situation at all. He didn't let any of that rattle him. He still just did him. I think people will really appreciate that if he was.
I think we'll appreciate that as people who appreciate good music, but I think a lot of people would be disappointed if he didn't address it. But I think he addressed it enough in this new song that he got.
The joint we talked about with Mace helped him. Taught him how to rap. That the only thing now is Mace. Like I said, Mace is not going to say nothing back. He's just not. He's not going to give it the energy. He's not going to give it.
I don't know, man. Mace on It Is What It Is. He goes in a little bit. I don't think he. I really don't think that Cam said anything too disparage. I mean, Jim said anything too disparaging on Justin LeBoy's joint. The only thing he said that was disrespectful, that you could take as disrespect, is like, yo, them niggas on my dick. And he was really talking about 50 and Cam. You know what I mean? That's the only thing that was really kind of disrespectful to me. You know what I mean? Other than that, the stuff he said about Mace, when Mace was stunting on Cam and them, I don't know. That was, you could take that any way you want to take it. You know what I mean?
He well, that's one of those. That's something that could try to cause dissension in between the two, because if they're together all the time, and so they just like, what is he talking about? You know, I think it's one of those like, yo, nah, you wasn't shitting on me, you wasn't doing that, yeah. Like, so that probably got brushed off. But my thing is this: same way Dame Dash, when he has these opinions and things that he's saying about Jay-Z, I don't dismiss all of them, because think about it. If Jay did some funny style stuff, who's going to be able to know it except for the people that's right there while it's happening? I just feel us as a society can't always give the go-ahead to the person that's financially up, as if they don't do any wrong, or they're above doing something petty. They're above, not doing something funny style once in a while.
I don't dismiss it, but it does come across as sour
grapes.
Not just sour grapes. Like, yo, Dame get paid for these interviews. You see what I'm saying? He need money. You know what I mean? So he has to say some salacious stuff. You know what I mean? So it comes across. I just felt like Dame was like a high integrity guy. You know what I mean? And as of late, it comes across as kind of like clout chasey. Like, and like you said, you can't dismiss it all, but because of his situation, because of the timing of it, you gotta take it with a grain of salt, though. You see what I'm saying? Like, yeah, he might be selling some truth in there, but when you're trying to sell something, it has to come off salacious. You know what I mean?
The thing about it is this: is we talking about things sounding salacious and everything. So I don't know if you heard Wendy Williams, the comment she made on the Breakfast Club about Puff, Diddy, and basically she was saying how they was like, you got fired because of you said some things about Diddy and you got fired. And so she went into it like, yo, it's things that I know and things that I've seen in that time frame that I was telling people back then, but nobody wanted to listen. This is the reason why I got fired and this, that, and the third. And she basically was like, but now it's coming out. And she said, Diddy can go to jail for 100 years. Diddy done. Or whatever. And of course, the Breakfast Club got a kick out of that and everything else. But I know, at what point is it, I don't believe people are sitting around, well, people might be because people are miserable at times, sitting around waiting for somebody's demise. Now, the thing about it is this, before you go, because I see it, if you doing some things that's super questionable over and over and over a set period of time, and then when it finally comes out, it's like, yo, I knew this was coming. I knew this day would eventually come. And it's like, pause. But it's like people don't, these kids, and I'm going to get into that later, everything can't be, why nobody said anything about it back then. No, people were saying something.
But that's what I'm saying, though. That's the difference between Dame and Wendy Williams. Wendy Williams was at that time, the height of her career, and said something that was disparaging about somebody that could get her job lost, and she lost her job. And she didn't speak on it anymore, but she didn't take it back or do anything like that. Yeah. She just kept it moving and kept doing something else. Whereas Dame was around for all of these things, and it's when the perception is Dame is down bad, that all of these things come out in these interviews with who knows who, when 9 times out of 10 he's getting paid for these interviews. You see what I'm saying? So that's why it's a little different. But I do agree with your premise. What's done in the dark shall come to the light. You see what I'm saying? And people should be accountable for their actions.
Speaking of accountability, I think the fabric of accountability is gone. And I was driving today, and my mind's just wandering, just going through things, looking at social media, thinking of real life situations and things. I'm going to tell you when accountability started getting chipped away at. Once we eliminated shame, once we eliminated people actually, once the integrity bug started getting snatched away too, all these things add up, and they're actually the building blocks of accountability.
Okay, and I want you to speak on.
Go ahead.
On that though. What do you mean by eliminated shame? Expound upon that.
What I mean about when I say what we eliminated shame, okay, to make it easy, shame for dummies. There was a time when we would be outside, and I'm saying we, even though I don't indulge as my peers.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Us. Dudes would be outside, drinking their 40s and everything else, and doing everything else. They might be smoking, doing whatever. Negro's mom walked by. You got to put that stuff up. You got to put that up. Without even being told, put it up. Yo, put the bottles behind. Yo, put the smoke out. Yo, clear. Put the smoke out. Now, Negro's mom is not no dummy. She understands what's going on. And these kids that she's watched grow up, they're young men now. So they may indulge in liquor and weed and whatever else. But that still misses, you see what I'm saying, like that. We're not talking loud. We're not even cussing in front of her. We're not doing any of that because we still have respect, and we knew how it would look. How we don't want, not only that, we don't want Mrs. Negro talking to our parents, because the parents talked.
Yeah.
We didn't want to embarrass our parents. We wanted things. This is why. But now, these kids now have this whole. They think it's two ways about it. Oh, my parents tell me to do the right thing. Oh, but you choose not to do it. So you think you're disrespecting me by disobeying them. Like, that's the whole thing. These kids nowadays don't believe that they're a reflection of what they grew up underneath. They don't believe that. They believe that they are their own entity, which they are to a degree. But we understood, yo, I'm representing my parents, my mom, my dad. Who's ever was responsible for raising me, I represent them. This is another thing, too, that how accountability and how we started getting chipped away at. We stopped schooling. And this is what I mean by stop schooling. Somewhere in this timeline continuum, I've always wanted to use that word. I hear it all the time. You know, I was waiting to use it.
Timeline continuum.
Shout out to my man Kurt, because I know he's going to enjoy that.
Yo.
But somehow along this timeline, we started being more like, yo, that's just him. Let him do it. It wasn't like that before. Yo, if you doing something wrong, I can tell you. I can check you. Yo, this ain't cool. Don't say that. Don't do this. I'm a little older than you. This is why. I see what road you're going down. But now somehow it's, yo, let Shorty do it on his own. Let him run his own path. And the sad part is we like, yo, what do you mean let Shorty go on his path? He's going to get killed. We know what's down that alley. He's going to die. He's not going to get another chance. Before you interject, it was one of my former students. And if you work in education, one of the worst things is hearing one of your kids died, especially if they were murdered.
Yeah.
Because if they're sick, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like that. That's health. But being killed, murdered, whatever, however you want to say it, that way, one kid, I don't even want to say his name, but he was 20 years old. I knew this kid since he was 8 years old. And you know the kid too, I'll tell you off camera. He was a handful, but he was a good kid. But the thing about it is he was always around older cats. And they weren't like schooling them or like, yo, just this is what's going on outside. Know to see the pitfalls. They were railing him in so he can be part of it. Long story short, this kid wound up getting killed with friendly fire. Somebody they were shooting. He got killed by somebody that was with him that shot. And I remember the kid's teacher, because I wasn't his teacher, I was just an aide. I called the guy who was his teacher, because me and him are still friends. Mr. Dews, I was here.
Yeah.
I said, yo, man, such and such got killed. And he paused. He said, oh, man. He said, yo, homeboy, we tried. And it stuck with me because he's not a cold-hearted dude. But I just understood what he meant when he said, yo, homeboy, we tried. We had the talks. And we're not talking about the one talk like, yo, shorty, man, get it together. This was years of saying these things and hoping we're wrong about what could happen to you. But we've seen enough to know if you stay on this path, shorty, you're headed this way. And to see a kid that you knew since 8 and not realizing, you start thinking to yourself, wow, you got 12 more years left. And it's over.
Yeah, well,
tough pill.
Like dude said, I often say we plant seeds. You know what I mean? Especially when you work with children, we plant seeds, but every seed doesn't sprout. You know what I mean? It just doesn't, yo. Every seed doesn't sprout. But like you said, that don't mean you stop planting seeds. You know what I mean? Like a lot of old heads just don't want to get involved anymore. They don't want to talk to them, and it's tough because these youngins is crazy, yo, as they call them now, the YNs.
That's what that be saying before. I thought
man,
so.
These YNs be bugging, man. They be tripping. But hey, man, you can still talk to them. I mean, you can stay. They still humans. I think just because somebody gets a little crazy and they do some things that we don't agree with, don't mean that they're not human. You know what I mean? And you can talk to them, and you can't change people. You know what I mean? But you can plant the seed for change. Only life changes people. They're gonna go through something, and they might remember what Oshin said to them 6 years ago. You know what I mean? When they experience it in real life, and it might change their life. But if nobody says something to them, their life can't change. You know what I mean? And my question is, where do you think we lost the accountability, man? Because I had real old heads. And I'm not even just talking about holier than thou, going to church guys. I'm talking about dudes that was in the streets, seeing something in me like, nah, you ain't gonna do that. You on this path, that ain't you. You know what I mean? Like, where did we lose that?
I'm gonna tell you exactly where we lost to that. And I appreciate the question. That was a good question. We lost it because those guys that were really about that life, they didn't glorify it. They never glorified it. Now, I'm not going to say none of them did, because that just wouldn't be the truth, and they wouldn't have youngins. That's like 50 Cent, or we talked about the dude Black Just. I don't even know both. I don't know 50 personally. I don't know Black Just. But Black Just was a big-time hustler and everything else. So clearly he was showing 50 the hustle, and he still respected him, looked up to him, everything. What I'm saying is, a lot of times, the dudes that we knew that were really about that, they were able to be like, nah, shorty, you not going down this road, because never mind what I'm doing, because if I can do what you can do, shorty, I wouldn't be doing this. And they put it out there like that. Like, think about little small things like this. Can you imagine? You have no idea how many times I've been outside and was told, go back upstairs, or don't go around this corner, walk that way.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like that. Like, that was respect and looking out for the simple fact, if they didn't care about you, they let you walk right into
You about to take us down a slippery slope, though.
Go ahead, let's hear it.
You about to take us down a slippery slope. Because the guys that was doing it wasn't glorifying it. But I know who was. And that was hip-hop. It came a time where, it was our era, too. It came a time when our era, the drug dealer was looked at like the pinnacle. And it wasn't necessarily because of raps. It was hip hop in general. Because the rappers, even though they wasn't rapping about that, they started looking like the drug dealers. So the famous guys look like the guy up the street that's doing all the other stuff. You see what I'm saying? Okay. So they started looking like the rappers. So the rappers started looking like the drug dealers. So the rappers is now driving BMWs and Benzes and wearing big chains and going and getting customized clothes and all this stuff, just like the drug dealers. You see what I'm saying? So that's elevating the drug dealers. You see what I'm saying?
I didn't take it that way, even though it's true. I'm not 100% going against what you're saying. But when you started talking, I don't know if you remember that. You taking me back too much. Do you remember that movie DC Cab?
Yes.
Okay. I'm about to say you better because you're a Commanders fan anyway. So I'm looking like
I've never been a Commanders fan.
That wasn't you. That was
No, I used to like Washington and then I didn't because I hate Dan Snyder.
Okay, back. That's what it was. All right. And there was the guy that Mr. T was, because they all worked for the cab. He got his cab tricked out and everything because he wanted to show the kids and everything else, yo, you can attain things like this without being that. Now, how you saying the truth part about what you said about how the rappers started dressing and started doing this, they were using the drug dealers' cars in their videos. LL Cool J talks about that all the time,
right?
Or whatever. But the thing about it was this: Canvas One made a point. He said, "Do you know why songs like Self Destruction really resonated?" He said, "Because the guys that were really about that life were the ones singing about, this ain't the thing." You see what I'm saying? I think those two things lived, you know what I'm saying, in cahoots. Because it's like, yes, you're going to have the people that's going to put out there, glorify. Even NWA. NWA didn't make F the Police just because they didn't go in the studio and be like, yeah, this would be a snazzy tune if we just say
right.
No, they was like, yo, this is what's going on. We ain't messing with them because of this. They're brutalizing us in our own neighborhoods. Yada, yada, yada. We looked at our skin as our sin. All of that. So once those things started being like, it was just a matter of who you're going to follow and what message are you going to take from who you're following. That's all I went to. And it was like, it's the same as Bloods and Crips that were, you hear the same story. Oh, we was cool growing up, but I chose to be a Blood. I chose to be a Crip. We personally don't have a beef, but we're on different sides now. So it all boils down to who you actually, what you wanted to get from it. For me, I was fortunate. I got an older brother, but outside of that, the dudes that I was outside around, some of them was real street dudes. Some of them was just regular dudes that had jobs or whatever. And I kind of saw both ways. And I could use these names because one of them is deceased now, and I wanted to just honor him. My man Al Boogie, rest in peace. But KB, Coyote, he's still alive.
Right.
Al was a street dude. He got the girls. He got the curly hair. He was nice and bald. He got money, which is weird because he actually graduated from A&T. So I used to always say like, yo, you're the street and the college dude or whatever. But he was really a street dude. He was really about that life. Wasn't nothing fake about him that way. Al will come through with all type of exotic chicks and all kinds of. I can go on for days about the stuff that I seen with him. KB, never selling no drugs, wasn't no street dude at all. KB actually looked like Ralph Tresvant or whatever.
Okay.
He looked like him, like they favored a lot. He was coming through with joints. You know what I'm saying? Now, when you young, you impressionable. You like, dang, KB coming through with some joints. He came through with joints. Al had nice cars. KB had a nice car. Al was always throwing around money and whatever, having a good time. KB wasn't broke. He was fresh too.
Yeah.
So I was never pulled in each direction, but I was more so like, dang, you can attain that and not be that. Or you can be that and obtain that. You see what I'm saying? It was as a kid, it was a lot of duality.
Yes,
to it, for me.
For you, but for a lot of the YNs who don't necessarily have that good big brother role model and didn't have the type of moms that you had. You see what I'm saying? Hey man, I was the man. He had cars. I want cars. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, look, I could get it that way. And you know what? That's my point. When I was young, it was the old heads who seen the difference. They seen the kids with, oh, no, you got potential, and oh, you ain't got nothing, but you a smart kid. You might could make it in this, what I'm doing. But you don't have to do this. So you can go a different route. They was like gatekeepers to that shit. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Now it's like, it's no real organization. It's no gatekeepers. It's like every man for themselves. So it's a lot of guys that's in the game that didn't have to be in the game. It's a lot of guys that think they want to be in it and end up getting killed because they believe what they see on TV. Because everything is about, being tough, being in the game, doing drugs or selling drugs. Yes. Now, you see what I'm saying? So as much as I love hip hop, it has to get some of the blame to me.
It definitely gets a lot of the blame.
Yeah.
And I hate when people say, nah, don't blame hip hop, don't blame TV. You got parents. No, because honestly, yes, if you have a strong parent that's doing what they do, yes, you have that foundation. But I'm sorry, you hear a lot, it's a lot of what you see. That's what molds a lot of your thoughts and everything else. My mother raised me to be a gentleman, but there was a few things she might have dropped the ball in terms of, now what she did say, I'll never forget, she said, be a gentleman, but just don't be a sucker either. And that's literally, I'm not even paraphrasing, that's what she said. Be a gentleman, but don't be a sucker. Don't be a pushover. I told you, back then, they used to say things like, you're not going to be around here. She never used the F word. What she used to say was, you're not going to be around here carrying no purse, which is ironic because now these YNs, they wearing purses. Like, I don't even think that's a saying anymore. You can't even say that. But my mother definitely used to be like, you're not going to be around here wearing no purse. And one day I got tired of her saying that. Not that I said anything to her. I asked my brother, I'm like, why does she keep saying that? I'm not a girl. I wouldn't wear a purse anyway. He was like, I know. She basically said, you're not going to be around here acting like her. Now, that's a dated term in terms of when we were coming up, people called you the F word. Yeah. It was just, and the only reason why I'm saying F word is because I don't want the video to get blocked and all this other stuff. I want to be able to say it.
Yeah, but you can't do that no more.
Yeah, you definitely can't say it no more. But the whole thing was, you got to give hip hop a lot of the blame because the glorification of it and the money that can come along with it, that you making kids that are impressionable choose. They see the hard-working father or mother or whoever struggling, and they be like, dang, so it's the Jay-Z line. How can I get a real job? China White right here, right in front of my sight like here. Here's your ticket out the ghetto. Take flight right here. Sell me, you go bye-bye here. He basically saying the crack violence is talking to him.
Yes.
Telling him what to do. And you make your choice. The problem is this. People make these choices, but they don't want to live with the consequences. Yo, I'm going to be honest, and I want you to jump in. Yo, I know a lot of dudes that's in the streets. I don't believe every dude in the streets is really a street dude. I think a lot of times they're hood dudes. I'm not a street dude. I'm a hood dude.
Right.
And what the difference is, I don't make money in the streets, but I understand the politics of the streets.
But you can become a street dude though. I've seen it.
I think I'm too late for that.
No, you can't. What I'm saying is I've seen.
Maybe I could. Maybe I don't like you said that a little too fast. I think I don't like how you said I couldn't. I will go out here right now and shoot somebody. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Just to prove my point. Somebody will get smoked. Go ahead.
You wasn't saying it like that. But I was pretty much talking about. I've seen these young guys that were just good kids, and they make some bad decisions, end up in a wrong situation, and really become a monster. You know what I mean? So you can be a straight lace square. You can become a monster. Like you can become a street dude. I've seen it happen. You know what I mean? And but you just everybody I tell you will learn accountability. In some form and fashion, but I was arguing with a young guy the other day, and I forgot what we was arguing about, but it was about evolution, evolving. You know what I mean? So his thing was name me something that evolved and didn't get better.
Oh, that's easy.
And go ahead, then go for it.
You just talk about it. Hip hop. Hip hop has not gotten better. It's become ridiculously lucrative.
Yeah.
Let's be clear. It's become lucrative. Now, if your angle is look at all the money that you can make now, in that case, it's got better. Quality of music and songs and lyrics, we have not got better. It's got precipitously
I don't even
low and bad. Like it's terrible. The drop off was precipitously bad. It's terrible.
To that point, I would say music in general. Music
exactly.
Is there is some good music, but for the most part, music nowadays is kind of just tolerable.
So let me ask you this, and I liked the other day when you brought up that word tolerable in terms of this conversation. This is what I don't respect about music nowadays. This is when people make excuses for the music and the feel of it. I'm not just talking about hip hop. You say music. Well, there's good music out there. You alluded to it. There's good music out there, and they say you just gotta find it. Why I gotta find it? Because it was in abundance when we were coming up. It was in abundance. Now everybody put this phone right here.
Yeah,
your music is going to be out there. You don't need no labels. Your song, you can make up anything. You can be like, is there a fire in the club? Stop, drop, roll. You can get 100,000 people to start repeating that, and next thing you know, you got a hit, and people might step to you. So this whole theory of
the second time you use that. That's the second time you use that. You
need
to make that.
I should have been used that. I missed. Well, no, I don't know. What's his name? LeAngelo Ball.
Yeah,
because he took that song straight back to like 2006. I wanted to get a 6X white tee, a headband, the arm sleeve and all that. Once I heard whoa, I said, oh man, Master P is coming out of nowhere. He gonna say something. But music, I don't believe you should have to find it now. But the thing about it is, if I have to do all that, this shows the quality of the music. Right now in the clubs, the women run the clubs, by the way. Shout out to the women. They run the clubs right now. They run it. Bow. It's not just bow, 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 bow. Like Glorilla is her.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that. But we know what she's talking about.
Yeah.
You know?
I just think, there is good music, and you do have to find it. And the reason that you have to find it is because there is an extreme amount of bad music. And bad music kind of runs everything. You know what I mean? So you have to sift through a bunch of
garbage,
just mid and garbage to get to some to get to some quality music. You know what I mean? And this is why in this day and age there's really no like Luthers or it's no groups or like it's not a 112 or it's no Tonys.
Talk to him.
You know what I mean? Of the world, like it's not even really any, you know, Tony Braxton's, Patti LaBelle's kind of right now. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, these are like of my day great acts, but we not even talking about the premier acts. These are just regular acts. You see what I'm saying? So it's like it's a lot of just tolerable music out right now that you can kind of put on and tap your feet to pick up the pieces. You know what I mean?
Man, it is straight. We came from beginning to end 365 days of the year. I want your same old loving, baby. It's no more of that. Now it's, yo, I pick you up in the Uber, thumb in your butt. I put it up. Like they get right to it. Right to it. No problem. They not even talking the drawers down. That joint is soon as I walk in the club. Soon as I walk in the door, drop to your knees. Don't even ask me, please get on your knees. I'm hit you. Like they go right to it. I'm like, dang, how did this transition?
Well, the problem with rap and hip hop is it's not that. You see what I'm saying? The problem with rap is just it's not a variety of different styles of music and stuff. So like, I used to listen to NWA and a Kid and Play and a Will Smith and a Ice-T and a De La Soul and a Kool G Rap. You see what I'm saying? Like I could listen to Digital Underground. You know what I mean? Like I could listen to all of these things at the same time. I could listen to an MC Hammer. And you know what I mean? Like at the same time I'm listening to all of this stuff, it was more variety in the music. And now I think everything is becoming mid because it's all sounding the same. Like everybody uses the same cadence, the same flows, they talk about the same things. And even in the like the quality rap world, you see what I'm saying? Like even if you're a rapper, you either rap about rapping or rap about cocaine. You see what I'm saying? It's like, you know, which is great. You know what I mean? But I just would like more variety of things. You know what I mean?
You know another thing missing in hip hop? It's no more stories. Now, you know what's crazy? My boy Vaughn, they said he was known for his storytelling. And that was my guy. But, my youngin', his stories, like I said, and we ain't gonna keep going there, it only resonated because he was living his lyrics. Yeah. Like, he was doing the things he was talking about. So it was like, oh, he ain't joking. He really shoots people. Like, yo, I was looking at $1 Million Worth of Game, and the joint where they had Dirk, and they was doing a joint. Yo, them kids lost their mind when Vaughn verse came on that back again. They lost their mind. And he up there, oh, you know the main part of the song, he was like, that shit crazy. Crump was doing all that talking. He ain't even make it. The dude, Moo Crump, he got killed. He said he ain't even make it. Melly got shot in that party, started Harlem Shake. Like, these people really died that they knew, and people was like, yep, Vaughn was on it.
So you like your rap better when they was when they was just rapping?
Yes. You know what I'm saying? Like this. Like I'm like the Full Force member Bow-Legged Lou in House Party when he was like burning house. And he was like, whoa. I just wanted to beat somebody up, kick a little ass. I don't want people to get burned up. Yeah. Like, and I think people we caught that part. Yeah. Yo, They got kicked out the party.
Yeah.
Instead of just saying, yo, we gonna fight them when they come out, because they wasn't gonna spend the night. This nigga said, pass me the gasoline so they can come running out the burning house.
He said, out the burning building. He said, burning building?
Burning house.
Burning house? He said, I just wanted to kick some fucking ass.
Exactly. He didn't want nothing extra. He was like, this is cool. Let's beat him up. I'm not burning the house.
Yeah.
Like, he said, you talking about burning people up.
Yeah, the
what
YNs is really doing it these days, man. They living that.
Because they're not, but the thing about it is they're living it.
Well, and they're dying it too, because they getting killed.
Oh, no. You have to use another word. They're not getting killed.
Oh.
They are getting slaughtered.
Yeah.
This is, now I like how we go from back and forth. Yo, when I look at how these kids are dying, I'm like, yo, you know what's crazy? A lot of y'all are going to live to be 50 and 60. Y'all are going to really be at a point where you're like, 40 of my friends got killed before we were 20. Like, that dude, O.D. Perry, was only 18 when he got killed. But like this, he can't even imagine the world knows what O Block is because it's after him. My homeboy, he's Ill Will's cousin that Nas always talks about. That was Nas' best friend, but he's a little older than Nas. And I remember one day I was talking to him. I was like, yo, what if your cousin was here? He was like, yo, he said, if my cousin was to come back, he'd be like, what? Nasir is all over the place? You know what I'm saying? Because he got killed pretty young and everything like that. And it's just like, yo, that was a different situation. But these kids, they're not only dying, they get killed like kids. And this is what I mean by that. They go, what do these kids call it? Sliding. They gonna slide on their ops and all that. You know. They go slide on some ops that live 2 blocks down from where they live at. They slide, they connect. Pop, 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 pop. Somebody dies. Man down. As they say, the streets need a body now. It's one man down, somebody got to get back. You hear about a month later, such and such was just walking to the corner store to pick up some potato chips. And then they get their brains blown out. And people are like, oh, it's happening. You didn't see it happening. He lived, the dude he killed lives 2 blocks away. Y'all shop at the same places. Y'all go to the same everything. It's just a matter of time. You're not moving. Yo, when I was outside of O Block and everything, I was over there. First off, I was over there at nighttime too. Now, I don't want to say their glory days are over because I'm pretty sure they're living off of the reputation and everything. Now, I'm going to be clear. It definitely was raining this night. It wasn't raining bad, but it was drizzling. So a lot of people weren't out. Because I got to believe if it was nice weather, I might have had a different experience over there. I don't believe nothing would have happened because I know how to carry myself in the hood. But it have definitely been people outside. Now, I just remember looking at it like, this place is infamous. Famous, however you want to say it now. But I'm looking like, there are real people that live here. Like, it's real families that live there. There are people there that can't afford to live no place else. Right. That's why they live
everybody here. Ain't killing people here.
Exactly. And everybody's not a killer. The next top 5 draft pick probably is 2 years old living inside there right now. You see what I'm saying? Like that. He gonna grow to be 6'5". He gonna be that dude playing ball to get his family out of them projects and things like that. So it's like, you got to do better. But everybody's not able to just get up and move. And I believe that's the part that's lost in all this. People be like, yo, just move. It's not that easy. Yeah. People just can't change their situations like that. Because if they could, they would. And that's where we at with it. So we going to cut this one down because I felt we talked about what we set out to talk about. Yeah. And, you know, we got our message up across and everything. So we're going to keep moving on. This is Oshin's View. That's Willie Negro. Peace.
Peace.